So, thank you for joining, Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Gary. Thank you.
Awesome. It's a pleasure to see you on this beautiful evening. Um, we've been working with each other for about 24 weeks, 24 sessions. Now, a lot of people will go, okay, well, this is obviously not working if the person's still coming after 24 weeks. But in this instance, I think it's very different because I think the first couple of weeks was a matter of, okay, we had actual problems to work on, and now we're working on actually creating some sort of life. Would that be right, Chris?
It would, and I would say the complete opposite. That it really is working.
Awesome. That's
if,
great. That's great.
if I felt it wasn't working, I wouldn't still be here. That is
Yeah.
God honest truth.
Awesome. And I remember maybe
So
after the second week, you mentioned that, we'll do 10 weeks and then we'll do another 10 weeks. And I often hear that, but not a lot of people will go that extra step. A lot of people, have the challenges, then they get to the level of where, okay, I can cope with this now. But what we're really doing is we're going to some sort of next level. And, we'll touch on them type of next levels for your relationship and your family and how that's going. But Chris, let's go back a 4 months now. Um, 4 to 5 months. So maybe it's not the 24th session. Maybe it's like the 18th or so. But before we do that, let's tell us a bit about yourself, Chris. Who is Chris? What is Chris doing? And why did you reach out that day, that time, 4 months ago?
obviously, I am Chris. Um,
Yeah.
I I had a severe addiction to weed.
Right.
Um, I've been talking about getting some sort of help for a very long time, and eventually, when I got put, basically, I had to do something. I had to, and remember the very first call with you, Gary. You said, "Did you read my profile?" And I did not read one bit of her profile. It was just, I don't know what it was about looking at their face on the thing. I said, he's the one now that's going to help.
Well,
And you were literally the first person I rang. I never rang another person.
yeah. Well, yeah. No, God's fate. I'd say if
That
that's
was,
what you
it was
believe in.
some sort of fate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
So
it
tell,
was,
tell us a bit more about them challenges, Chris. You were severely addicted to weed, right? And you were smoking that every single day, and that was for a long time. How long was that?
20 years.
20 years, and that's not an easy habit to break. But
Um,
just on a quick note, what do
first
you
thing,
think of weed now?
first thing in the morning, I had my first smoke at about 6:45 every morning with my cup of coffee, and I'd have a joint. And I'd have another one at 10 o'clock on my tea break. I'd have another one at 1 o'clock at my lunch break. And then I'd have one in the van on the way home from work in the evening. And then I would smoke my head off then for the rest of the night until bedtime at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So you were it was the addiction to the weed. What other challenges were going on? I know in the relationship that was really what sparked off getting help. You considered it getting help, but it really was that moment in the
Yeah,
relationship. You said,
my relationship deteriorated. Not,
mm.
um, yeah, my
and,
partner, for a better word, gave me the boot.
and you're
So
also a parent as well, so it was very
I
important for
am.
you to change
And
that.
it was, yeah, I don't want my son growing up to watching a stoner
Mm.
raising a child. Well,
Yeah. Chris, what was a goal you had when we started working out? What was like, where did you want to get to when we worked together?
my the main thing I wanted was that I did not rely on any other substances
Mm.
to put anything into my body. That I just wanted to be happy. I wanted to be able to have my life without having to rely on alcohol or weed or cocaine or that. I just wanted to be able to get through my life, not get through my life, live my life
Yeah.
without a reliance on some other substance having to be in me every day.
That's a nice change. Not just get through your life, but thrive through your life.
Yeah,
Live your
yeah,
life.
have a life.
Yeah, have a life. With them goals, you mentioned you're happy there. You wanted to be happy in yourself without taking them substances. I hope the people know I didn't pay you that to say anything. But are you happy now,
No,
Chris?
sorry.
Are you happy now?
Am I am happy. I'm so much happier than what I was
Mm. And tell us
when I
about your
started this.
relationship now, how it's changed compared to, 20 weeks ago.
When we get on now, we 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 have a great relationship. It's better than it was even when we started going out.
Yeah. And
It's
that's
much better.
that's
It's
incredible.
much better than what it was when we even started met each other, and that's supposed to be the honeymoon period. Well, I'm kind of going through the honeymoon period now, and that is the truth.
I
That
can't
is it.
I can't believe that. Although I love I will believe that. I will believe that. It's incredible that that has changed around so much. I'm consistently proud of you, Chris, in terms of how you changed, transformed your life around. With the other challenge, the relationship's obviously going well. What about the addiction? Are you smoking weed now?
No, no, and no real interest in smoking weed.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't have the longing for it anymore. I will say it was tough to sleep for a long time. A certain amount of weeks, it was. I really struggled with my sleeping and all that. But the actual cravings for weed, I don't have them anymore. It's,
That's amazing, and it's nice. A lot of people, I think, will get value from the sleep part in terms of you'll have them weeks in terms of you struggling to sleep.
it was a struggle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It was
was.
20 years of a habit, right? It was years and years and years of habit of smoking at night to help you fall asleep, and
And
then
it was in my head that I couldn't sleep without weed.
mm,
That was it. Like, literally, if there was ever a time that I couldn't get weed, which is very rare, um, I wouldn't sleep for that night. And it was always in my head that I wouldn't be able to sleep. Oh God, I can't sleep without weed. But now I slept on it this morning. To be honest with you, it
there
was
you go.
20 days before I woke up this morning because my phone went dead during the night.
Sleeping too good, huh? So we're also making progress on another front in terms of some another habit that you've had for a long time, smoking, right? You've been working on that, and that has how much has that decreased over this period? And I think you're really at the cutting edge here.
Yeah, I was when I was smoking weed, I used to think justify it that I don't want to smoke cigarettes. I just put tobacco in joints,
Hmm.
which is a complete lie to yourself. But there you go, you justifying things. Yeah, the tobacco is down to pretty much not.
Yeah, and you were
I've
doing
had
that.
a couple of relapses, if you want to call them that. Um, but I'm pretty much, I can say I don't smoke
Look, that's a great sentence, and that will be instilled into your identity. And you don't smoke. That's where you'd like to get to. And you don't smoke weed at this stage. And when you get to the stage of I don't smoke, that's maybe a little tool or a tip. When you have the identity inside of yourself, you don't smoke. So that's you are so close to knocking that one. I don't know how the progress has been over the last week or two, but you've been making great strides. So another question I have here, Chris, has your expectations been met or exceeded in our time together?
it. Definitely exceed because you're not really a counselor. You're more of a life guidance person that it's not just, you don't just come on and talk about sad things and, oh, how do you feel about this? And how do you, it's not that, like, it's more of a getting your life back on track, getting to actually live in your life.
Yeah.
I had it in my head that I was going to come on to talk to Gary, and it was all these
Doom and gloom.
traumas, and you were going to relive all these things that maybe you could say made you the way you are, but you did it yourself. Like, um, definitely exceeded, definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people do believe you have to go back, and in some people you do, and some people you don't, depending on their own belief. If they believe they have to go back in time to deal with them things, well then that's their belief. So you have to go back with them. I'm grateful that we didn't have to spend much time there. We used a lot of pain and pleasure in terms of you wanted to be a role model to your son, so smoking weed was not something that you wanted your son to do, and that just that that kind of kicked you in gear and you got your stuff together. You took the actions. I'm proud that your expectations have been exceeded. Chris, do you think it's been valuable to have someone outside of the sessions, not only in the sessions each week, but to have someone to check in on you or message you throughout the week?
Yes, very much so. It's you never get away from Gary. It's like if you said you were going to do something, Gary always chases up on you and asks you, "Have you done this? Or have you actually got your finger out your arse, basically, and
Yeah,
actually done it?" It's easy to talk to you every week and say, "Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," but you have to actually go ahead and do these things,
yeah, and
which
you
is
have been taking action. I know you wanted to possibly start a business recently, and that was something that was really interesting. You went on that little venture, and you did take the actions. And even before we started this little interview here, I asked you, did you do that resume that you did? It's definitely a trait that I have of keeping people accountable to their word. But it's also in the best. It's in their best interest. They say they want to do that action. So like yourself, and
even to get a text message on a Monday morning just saying "Happy Monday"
yeah, have a
and
great
have a
week.
great
Like,
day. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. It's
it
awesome.
just it reconnects you with what you're doing,
Yeah,
just keeps
yeah,
you thinking about it, and then yeah, you go along. If you have to do something on a Monday that you've said you were going to do, because we used to speak on a Friday afternoon,
yeah,
so come Monday you have to start doing these things. And
yeah.
when you get that message at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning or half 7 on a Monday morning, you think, "Geez, I better do this now. I
That is
better
actually
actually."
that's an interesting point with the Friday sessions. I often work with people who have an addiction on a Friday evening, and it's because that's the time where they're mostly going to do it. And I know you kind of stopped drinking alcohol as well. I mean, that was a big part of your life too, and that was causing aggressive behavior in terms of your relationship, and that wasn't going well. So you've knocked that on top on the head, and you want to be an occasional drinker, which is a nice goal. It's not like completely having none, but it's when big events come up, and I think you're succeeding in that. You went on holidays a while ago, you had a drink, you enjoyed it. You mentioned it wasn't as good as the first time, but the second and third when you start chatting to people and your relationship's thriving, so there's a lot of positives. I can't express to you how proud I am of you, Chris, and the path that you are willing to progress. You're willing to take steps outside of your comfort zone and do things that will maybe put you in a position that you do want to be in. We still haven't fully narrowed down on the goals in terms of where you want to go. We definitely have big goals, like in the house. Chris, what advice would you say to someone debating whether they should get help or they should see somebody?
It's There is no comparison to what I was
It's
to
going to be
what
very
I am
hard for
now. Like,
people.
I know it's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is to make the first phone call. I know that. I've learned that. But once you actually do it, the relief that you get, and that's what it is, relief. Like it's like a weight off your shoulders. Just to tell somebody, "Oh God, I'm not. This is not going. My life is not going well." Because there's nobody. You don't want to go telling your family.
Yeah.
Like I know you can tell them, but like you don't open up the same way. I found anyway. That's my personal
Mhm.
experience.
I think it's common. I think it's common. I chuckled there a moment ago. What you mentioned, it's no comparison for you a couple of months ago, and it really is. It's really hard to show or tell someone how it was back then, but it's 180 degrees, we can say at least.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Chris, has work hindered or our relationship or hindered your growth at all? Working online?
Oh no, no,
No. And
definitely
listen,
not. No, because I find it because it's easier if I have to try and get to wherever Kilkenny or Waterford to meet somebody at a certain time every day. It's a lot harder.
yeah,
It's like um, I find it just as easy to have the conversation on my phone every week.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking before this call started that we actually would have never worked with each other if that was the case. We would have never got that connection.
Oh no, no, you're up in Dublin. I'm
Uh-huh.
in Kilkenny. It'd be a long drive up there every week to have a chat.
So I wonder what that progress would have been with someone else, but we can't tell. We can't tell. So, Chris, that is the end of my questions. Have you got any parting words? And I don't usually ask that question. Maybe I'm throwing you on the spot, but it's if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's completely fine.
If you think you need help, you definitely do. If you're thinking about it at all, just take that one step and ring somebody. Right? Just it's the hardest part. I'm telling you, it's the hardest part. It's just that first step of just ringing somebody, and the relief that you'll feel will be you won't be able to measure it. The weight off your shoulders. That's what I felt the first day. It was this weight off my shoulders.
Yeah. Chris, maybe last question here. Do you think you've got a return on your investment?
Definitely.
You've put in a couple of
I
hundred
have my
hours.
relationship back.
Oh yeah,
That is worth more money than I can earn in 10 years. I guarantee you that is worth is weight in gold like that.
that's so nice to
Because
hear.
we were finished. I had to convince her that I can change. And
Yeah.
luckily she took my word that, right, if you do change, fair enough, we can try do something. And I know I had to actually go do it, but it's it's money didn't is no object in this. There's no you can't put a price on it.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
If we actually go back to our first session, and maybe this could be a lasting point, you actually, just to attest to your point, you felt like it was over. It was like, I can't get her back, you know?
Yeah,
And you mentioned it's worth its weight in gold, and not only with your partner, but it's also with your son now. And you
yeah,
are definitely a role model to your son, and it's going to keep growing on that. And look, Chris, I'm absolutely proud to have you as a client, and we may not work together forever, as I, that's good. That's good that we don't do that forever, but this time that has been spent with yourself has been tremendously incredible. I'm great that you've had your expectations exceeded. I'm great that you feel like you got a return on investment. I'm grateful for them things immensely. It's an incredible success story on my behalf in terms of yourself. I'm very proud of you. So keep on going.
thank
And
you.
thanks for doing this, Chris.